Hey there, how you doing? Charlie Winters here with horse racing and football selections for Saturday, the 30th of November. Well, it was nearly a very good day. It ended up being a profitable day, a slight win, £7 on, £10 39 back. Unfortunately, I think the final selection, Astronomic View, I think it was. I think there was a bit. I thought she was doing the right thing, but in the end, it was the wrong thing. I think she used a bit too much of the horse, and it faded when it entered the home straight. I thought, I thought she was doing the right thing because it stays all day, it stays further, it likes tough going, and yeah, it just wasn't good enough anywhere near on the day. It clattered one of them, but in the whole, I think it actually ran a good race. Um, the first selection was it Rick Gate. Never put in the race, but I'm not too bothered because it finished the best of all the lot of them, and it finished for fourth place, 20 to 1. Um, I think she looks like a jockey that can ride, but I just think she got the waiting tactics a bit over exaggerated. The next two came placed at 5 to 1. They had chances to win. They both well, Asta La Pasta, whatever we're called. Came there travelling well, didn't quite find as much as hope, but I know he was trying to hang on to it a bit because it got there quite soon going well. I saw him keep trying to um, hold on to it, delay his challenge. And in the end, it didn't quite find as much. And then Scarface, I was concerned it might weaken. It looked like it was staying at one pace, and all of a sudden, then it stayed on for second place, excuse me, which it never looked like winning. And then, to be fair, with three to jump, it never looked like coming out the places. Although I was a little bit concerned for a few seconds, and then yeah, like I said, it stayed on for second place. So these are the selections for Saturday. And as you can see, yes, it's an each way Goliath, but I'm not happy about it. I wanted the each way Goliath, and I want it to be 5p, which I've done. However, it forced me to take the prices because it wouldn't let me place the bet without taking the prices. I think it's basically because it's probably built into their system where they don't know, they've got no control of how much you can actually win. Don't get me wrong, I'm not expecting the quarter of a million. And I tell you what, even if three of the horses get beat, it'll probably still make quarter of a million. But no. So what I'm saying is, I think it's a dreadful day's racing. It's a dreadful day for the football, in my opinion. So I don't particularly like the FA Cup um, as a betting perspective. Um, so but I do like the selections, and I do like my football bet. It's just I haven't quite got that buzz of a Saturday because um, I think partly it's because I've had to take the prices. I don't like being told what to do. So here goes. So it's a 5 pence each way Goliath, and it comes to £24.70. You decide what you want to do. If you don't normally stake that much, just split them down into like small lucky 15s and stuff like that, or back the first four, then back. I'll leave it with you. But these are the horses that I like the look of, and I'll explain why. I'll be honest, because I've picked is it 8 horses? I may be a bit brief on some of them because to be fair, I will have forgot by now because I've been looking over them for the last hour. I don't make any notes because I haven't got time. So the first selection is Supreme George at 12 to 1 in the 11:42 at Doncaster. So in my opinion, the favourite in this race, or current favourite, won last time. It didn't achieve a huge racing post rating for its first run over hurdles. It achieved a racing post rating of 100. Well, that's not huge. That's not, but there is potential. However, it's got a penalty. However, it's also got Callum Pritchard taking 7 off. So I didn't see whether Callum Pritchard rode it first time round, but he's technically taking £7 off it. But if he rode it last time, which I didn't check, um, the kind of penalty is null and void because technically he also took the £7 off last time. So it is still actually raised £7. I didn't see if it was ridden by this jockey last time. If it was, just bear that in mind. The second selection is interesting. I can't remember what it's called. Sorry, not the second selection. The second favourite. It's Campaign Trail. That's what it's called. So it's got some pretty progressive form over staying trips. And as I said, I do like to take them on. when they are 1 mile, 1 mile 6 and 2 mile 2 furlong horses on the flat that are going over hurdles. However, it has got pace around about 1.5 miles, but I do still think it is. We can take that second horse on as well because it's first time off a wind operation with the first time tongue strike. Um, it tells me that potentially when it goes jumping, it may put some pressure on that wind operation potentially, and it was a while back, but I just think there's um, there's potential that it doesn't run up to um, its capability or potential capabilities. Don't get me wrong, it looks quite a classy horse on the flat. It's from Ralph Beckett. Long absence, which is quite interesting. Maybe they just took the time with it. I don't know, but I do think the first two have got question marks. However, there's very little strength behind them, behind those two in the betting. You've got, I think it's called Yotta by Paul Collins, also first time over hurdles after going national hunt flat racing. I'm not a fan of that. I always like them to have a little bit of experience. So I've gone for I'm going to call him Dandy McCain. It's not Dandy McCain, is it? Donald McCain. That's it. Dandy Nichols. Yeah. So I've gone for a Donald McCain horse. The first selection is Supreme George at 12 to 1. I didn't want to take the 12 to 1 because I think it'll be bigger. In the 11:42 at Doncaster, Donald McCain also had the second, which was 11 to 8 in this race last year, which is quite interesting. It's a poor race. It won't take much winning. I do think if this horse goes to the front and gets an easy lead, which is possible, because this horse led last time at I think it was Sedgefield. Sedgefield's a bit of a horrible course. It's very undulating and bit of I say a bit of a roller coaster. It's just very undulating. I think this horse has got a bit of a sneak. If it's improved from its debut, it's definitely got a chance. The only problem is, I think there's 8 or 9 runners. It's always risky whether there might be a non-runner, but I'm taking the risk. The second selection is high stakes player at 11 to 2 in the 12:40 at Newbury, paying 4 places instead of 3. So this selection, I do believe, ran behind. I'm going to get this wrong way around. It's either Chianti Classico or Classico Chianti, but whatever it is, it's the Kim Bailey trained horse that won a decent race last time. This horse chased it throughout. I think that race is probably better than the one it's running in today, and I think it was prominent throughout and stayed on. And I think a repeat of that performance, it will be difficult to kick out the first 4. Definitely, if it repeats that performance, I find it hard to see how it won't come in the first 2. However, things can happen. They can make blunders. They can unseat riders. They can run under. They can underperform. But I do think high stakes player has got every chance. Especially, I like the price at 11 to 2. Unfortunately, one arm behind my back because I had to take it because of the bet. The third selection is another one that I like. Well, obviously, otherwise I wouldn't have backed it. Is Any Harm in Asking at 15 to 2 in the 1:54 at Newbury, and that's paying 5 places instead of 3. I do believe this horse came second or third in this race last year. It's also trained by John Joe O'Neill. I think it's well handicapped. I think it's got every chance. It's had a recent run, and I do believe it's been pulled out a number of engagements. I don't know why, but I think conditions will be fine. The fact that it ran in this race last year, I think it's very interesting. It's not just a fluke that it's in this race. It's in this race again for a reason. Um, I do believe John Joe O'Neill is a stable that you will need to keep on the right side of this year. I think they're going to have a good season this year. They've been quiet for many years. In my opinion, they've been quiet for many years. And I think this also got a decent chance tomorrow. And I've also backed another one of his later on. So in the 2:10 at Newcastle, the fighting fifth hurdle, there's currently 8 runners, so it's risky. I've gone for Kihava at 33 to 1. If there's no pace in this race and it turns into a sprint, this horse has got half a chance. Don't get me wrong, I'm kind of contradicting what I've said in the past, in this video and previous ones, because this horse has got flat form around 2 mile, but it's also got plenty of York course form Not as though it's not running at York, but York's a speed favouring course. It's one of them that suits horses not just from the front. When I mean speed favouring, you've got to have a turn of foot. I think it's a bit of a classic course. You've got to be a decent horse, generally, in my opinion, to win round there. I think this horse has won between 1 mile 2 and 1 mile 4, and at least ran round there anyway at York. So this horse has got a turn of foot. If it turns into a sprint, I think this horse has got every chance. And the ground is currently good. Well, this horse acts on good and good to firm. You will find a lot of the horses. This is why I'm probably expecting a non-runner, which I'm concerned about. But they might say the ground's too quick. Very rarely there's enough runners in the fighting fifth hurdle for three places. Normally, it's a 4 or 5 runner event. I've just remembered it. Right, I remember Bouvier. That's the horse. Thanks for in the comments the other day. I actually forgot it again just seconds ago. But Bouvier used to win this race regular, or at least running it, and I think he even got beaten in this race in the past. Nick Henderson does have a lot of runners in this race. He's got Sergino this year. It'll probably end up winning it, but I just I just don't trust Nicky Henderson's horses at the moment, and it looks like he's got his entire stable running this weekend. He's got so many horses in so many races. I think one of the races he's got something like 5 runners in. It's like, what are you doing? Well, not I don't mean what are you doing. It's like, what chance we got? So the next selection, and I'm contradicting myself again, but I like the look of it. It's Aston Martini at 13-2 in the 225 at Newbury, paying 5 places instead of 3. It's Nicky Henderson. Well, this horse, I've gone for this because of the angle. I think this is a bit of a classic horse. However, it's had a recent run, so we know it's of its well-being. It's fit and it's ready to go. However, the previous run was on something like the 15th of February this year. So what happened then? I don't know if you can remember. What you will be able to remember. Nicky Henderson pulled all his horses out of Cheltenham because he thought something was wrong. Was this one of the horses that highlighted to him that something was wrong? Because the 15th of February was roughly about the time when Nicky Henderson started. People started scratching their heads, wondering why his horse was running so poorly. Well, this horse was very progressive, and then ran an absolute stinker on the 15th of February, and then didn't reappear until just recently. So I'm thinking that was one of the horses that might have been affected. It's proved its well-being, and I think it's going to carry on being progressive. And don't get me wrong, I actually don't like the Nick Henderson stable now because I don't trust it. Um, he'll come good. He'll come good when I least fancy him, and that's probably going to be today, Saturday. The next selection I really like the look of, and I think they've got it wrong with the price, but not knowing my law, but knowing my judgment, I think 18-1's too big, but it probably end up being something like 33-1 on the day because I've had one arm behind my back for taking the price, and the horse is called Iron Bridge, 18-1 in the 3 o'clock at Newbury. The Coral Gold Corp paying 5 places instead of 3. Well, I think this horse is very well handicapped. Well, in fact, to be fair, that's it in a nutshell. I'm going to leave it at that. I think it's extremely well handicapped. It stays the trip. It's Trevor Hemmings. I just think it's got a good chance. What I suggest is take a look at the selections before you actually place your bet. I like the look of Ironbridge. So I'll tell you the next one, and I shall tell you what I fancy the most. So the next one is Gustavian at 13-2 in the 320 at Newcastle, paying 5 places instead of 3. Well, I would have took the price on this one anyway because I think 13-2 is a tad generous. It's not a huge price, but I just think it's a tad bigger than it should be. Excuse me. So this horse, I tipped it. I think it was last time when it came place, but it nearly got brought down. It was travelling really well. What it was, the front runner set off really quick, and I can't remember what it was called. It's the one that Callum Pritchard, Al Dancer, I think it was called, trained by Sam Thomas and ridden by Callum Pritchard. It was his first big winner. It was one that really got a few raise a few eyebrows, as in like this lad can ride. Well, it was a very bold front running tactic, and I think the commentator also thought that it had gone off way too quick, but it hadn't, and it ran straight through the line. Well, Gustavian was, I won't say it was tracking the pace, but they were like, I think there was two or three groups. There was a breakaway group, then Gustavian that weren't too far away, and then there was the pack. Well, the pack never really got involved, but Gustavian wasn't a million miles away, but it was travelling well. And I think the jockey even looked round, not because I think he was looking round Gustavian's jockey to see where they were, and I think he thought he'd got them beat. Not he didn't think he'd won the race, but I think he looked round. But then, unfortunately, one of the horses in front of him, not immediately in front of him, but it was one of them where he couldn't really avoid it, or lost a lot of momentum by trying to avoid it. Unfortunately, nearly got brought down. However, I'm glad he stayed on board because he got us a place. But I think Gustavian has got every chance tomorrow. It was travelling really well, like I said, in that previous race, and I think it's still got a very competitive handicap mark still. The next selection is Petit Tonnerre at 9 to 2. I think that's worth taking as well. In the 3:35 at Newbury, paying four places instead of three. Just excuse me a second. Yeah, so that's John. I thought it was. That's John Joe O'Neill again. I couldn't remember. So this horse has been around the block a bit, but it's extremely well handicapped. I actually didn't fancy this horse when it ran at Aintree 2 runs ago because I thought the ground was too quick. It ran on good ground, but it ran an absolute cracker. And then it ran a bit of a subdued race last time, also on good ground. So maybe that ground was too quick for it, and it got away with it at Aintree. The ground is much slower tomorrow at Newbury. I think it's soft. I think that this is right up this horse's street, and I think this horse is well handicapped. And I think that John Joe O'Neill has got a strong hand tomorrow. If you look already, I really like the look of Ironbridge. He's got Petit Tonnerre. He's also got Any Harm in Asking. Three horses with cracking chances. So those are all the selections. Let me just spin through them and I'll tell you. So Supreme George, it's risky because there could be a non-runner. But I do believe the first two in the betting are vulnerable. High stakes player is an obvious chance. 11 to 2 is not a great price, especially when there's something like 11 or more runners. But I think it's got an obvious chance. There's nothing surprising there, from being honest. Any harm in asking, as I said, came placed in this race last year. Obviously going for it again. Don't see why not. Kihava, it's risky because I believe there's only 8 runners. I'll be a bit gutted if they take one out, but I'm convinced they'll take one out. But I've had to put the bet on, and I still think it's got a chance, even if they take one out. One of the really, we could do taking one of the fancied ones out rather than one of the outsiders. Aston Martini, obvious form chance. So high stakes player and Aston Martini are the most obvious horses. Ironbridge 18 to 1. Don't get me wrong. So if I had to give you three that, in fact, if you wanted to look at 15, I know you could back some of my horses anyway because obviously they're going at all different times of the day. But what I would give you is if you want four horses that should run the race, they are high stakes player. Any harm? No. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah. High stakes player at 11 to 2. Any harm in asking at 15 to 2. Gustavian at 13 to 2. And Petit Tonnerre at 9 to 2. If you wanted an each way look at 31, probably chuck Aston Martina in that for horses that have got sensible chances. The other three, Supreme George, Kihava, and Ironbridge, are horses with chances, but we need a little bit of luck. I also need to hope that they are targeting this race. That Ironbridge, I do believe. I think I looked at the races it ran in last year, and I was thinking, are they using this as a stepping stone? But this race is worth more than any of those races that it ran in last year. So why would you use a 142 grand? I think it is for 142 grand race as a stepping stone to something that you might win that's worth 70 grand. I think I think John Joe Neal's stable are definitely one to look out for. So I haven't quite finished yet. So the football, let's get on to that. We are due one of these, and I tell you what, I really like the look of them. But I've been saying that for about 8 weeks now, and I've only got one up. So it's a £7 over 2.5 goals treble, and I've actually put £3.90 on. That's just on the over 3.5 goals treble, and that's basically just to empty my account. So if this bet completely comes up, it makes 80, 91, 91, 79. But if we get the over 2.5 goals treble up, it means so it's 35 on. What is it? What £10? Yeah, £34.70 on. It means if we just get the over 2.5 goals treble up and not a single return, which is hard to believe, on the horses, we'll lose £6 on the day. It's £34.70 stake. So as I said, it's £7 treble over 2.5 goals treble and a £3.90 over 3.5 goals treble. And the matches are Wolves and Bournemouth. Bournemouth are favourite for that match, even though they're away. Wolves, they're just coming into a little bit of form. There always seem to be goals in the Wolves matches, so I'm probably tempting fate by saying that, and there'll probably be a very exciting 0-0. But I do think both teams. I'm expecting both teams to score. I just obviously need one of the teams to score more than the other one. Bristol City versus Plymouth is the next match. Who knows what's going to happen in a Wayne Rooney match? Wayne Rooney is the manager of Plymouth. Anything can happen in matches that he manages in. I haven't looked at all where Bristol City are in the league. I just saw Plymouth and thought I'll have a bit of that. And finally, you can't leave this team out or the away team either. It's Norwich versus Luton. Norwich are scoring absolutely for fun. Luton Town haven't turned up yet. Not quite sure what's going off there or how long they're going to be patient for, because I do believe. Well, the last time I looked, I don't really pay attention to the league standings quite so much, but I do believe Luton Town were down there. There always seems to be goals in the Luton matches, and there always definitely seems to be goals in the Norwich matches. So that's my angle, because we're after goals. So £34.70 on. I hope there's much more to return tomorrow. So if you give me a like or a subscribe, I would really appreciate it. So let me know in the comments what you fancy. Are you following me? Are you ignoring my selections? Are you picking your favourites out of my selections? Let me know in the comments. But anyway, I'm off, so I wish you the very best of luck. I've never said that before. I'm off. Right, I'm off. Right. Charlie Winters, over and out. Cheers, mate.